Listen now for a reading from 1 Kings chapter 19.
Elijah was a prophet of the God of Israel. King Ahab and Queen Jezebel were loyal to God's main competitor, Baal. There was a drought in the land, and Queen Jezebel called on all of the prophets of Baal to make special sacrifices to end the drought. But Elijah showed up, and with the power of God, he whipped them out and ushered in a rain to break the drought. When Jezebel heard what Elijah had done, how he had killed all of the other prophets, she sent Elijah a message saying,
So may the gods do to me, and more also, if I do not make your life like the life of one of them by this time tomorrow.
Elijah was afraid. He got up and fled for his life and came to Beersheba, which belongs to Judea. He left his servant there. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down under a solitary broom tree and was ready to die.
It is enough now, O Lord. Take away my life, for I am no better than my ancestors.
Then he lay down under the broom tree and fell asleep. Suddenly, an angel touched him and said to him,
Get up and eat.
He looked, and there at his head was a cake baked on hot stones and a jar of water. He ate and drank and lay down again. The angel of the Lord came a second time, touched him, and said,
Get up and eat. Otherwise, the journey will be too much for you.
He got up and ate and drank, and then went in the strength of that food 40 days and 40 nights to Horeb, the mount of God. At that place he came to a cave and spent the night there. Then the word of the Lord came to him, saying,
What are you doing here, Elijah?
I have been very zealous for the Lord, the God of hosts, for the Israelites have forsaken your covenant. They have thrown down your altars, and they have killed your prophets with the sword. I alone am left, and they are seeking my life to take it away.
Go out and stand on the mountain before me, for I am about to pass by.
Now there was a great wind, so strong that it was splitting mountains and breaking rocks in pieces before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire. But the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, a sound of sheer silence. When Elijah heard it, he wrapped his face in his mantle and went out and stood at the entrance of the cave. Then there came a voice to him that said,
What are you doing here, Elijah?
I have been very zealous for the Lord, the God of hosts, for the Israelites have forsaken your covenants, thrown down your altars, and killed your prophets with the sword. I alone am left, and they seek to take my life away.
Go, return on your way to the wilderness of Damascus. When you arrive, you shall anoint a new king over Aram and over Israel, and you shall anoint Elisha, a prophet, in your place.
And so Elijah left and did as God instructed. The faithful of Israel were spared the abuse of corrupt leaders, and Elijah began teaching Elisha, the one who would continue his work as God's prophet for the people of Israel.
This is God's word for God's people. Thanks be to God.